Whoa.
I want to have 2 more fights this year. Then after that, take off a little bit of time. Maybe have a kid or something. Yeah, fight some more.
Yeah, that's why I said I love him. I love having his support. You know what I'm saying? His support is like very, very different from what I've had in the past, and how he speaks to me and stuff is very different. There you go. We deserve each other. But I don't know, it's kind of one of those things I was like, I want to keep him all to myself. I didn't really,
After months of sneaking around and cheating on Papoose with his own protege, Easy the Block Captain, Remy Ma has now taken things to a whole new level. She didn't just betray Papoose emotionally, she took it a step further and started sending Easy explicit, private videos of herself. She really believed those clips would make him dump Claressa Shields right away. In her mind, it would be like flipping a switch. Easy would drop Claressa and come running to her. But that's not how it played out. To her shock, Easy didn't even react. He didn't flinch, didn't reply, didn't acknowledge it at all. That silence said it all. And now, Claressa is going public, calling Remy out for being desperate and thirsty. She's dragging her openly, saying Remy's behavior is not only shameless but also embarrassing. Remy tried to act like she was still in control, but everyone can see the truth. She's spiraling. She walked away from Papoose thinking she could always come back if she wanted to. She thought he'd still be waiting, arms open. But now that he's with Claressa, a woman who's doing better in every way, Remy's panicking. She's trying everything to steal back a man who's clearly moved on. And let's be real, Claressa Shields is in a whole different league. She's not just pretty or famous, she's a 5-division world champion, a pro athlete, and a global icon. She built her name with sweat and success. Meanwhile, Remy's career hasn't seen that kind of rise. She once had a shot in music, but was overshadowed and crushed in a very public rap battle by Nicki Minaj. She spent years behind bars and came out hoping to rebuild, but even then it was Papoose who held her down. He stayed loyal when she had nothing. He protected her image and supported her through the toughest times. But in the end, she threw it all away for Easy? That's what makes this even harder to watch. Remy had someone who truly loved her, not just with words but through action. Papoose went so far for her that he even risked legal trouble, trying to sneak her out of prison using a skeleton key. Yes, you read that right. That's how far his love went. He was banned from visiting her for 6 months after that stunt. If it weren't for his high-profile lawyers, things could have turned really bad. Yet, despite all that, he still married her over the phone while she was behind bars. He never cheated. He never stopped believing in her. But how did she repay him? By messing around with someone he mentored, someone he trusted. Now she's regretting it, but it's too late. The painful truth hit her like a brick. Papoose didn't just walk away, he upgraded. He chose someone younger, richer, more accomplished, and emotionally grounded. Claressa's not here to play games. She's sharp, disciplined, and doesn't need a man to survive, but she chose Papoose. And for Remy, that burns. The internet exploded when people saw how fast Papoose bounced back. Nobody expected him to move on so fast, let alone with someone as powerful as Claressa. While Remy was locked up, he had every opportunity to stray, but he didn't. He stayed loyal. But the moment he finally let go and found real happiness, Remy couldn't handle it. The control she thought she had vanished. Remy assumed he'd downgrade, that if he ever moved on, it would be with someone less than her. That way, she could still feel superior, like she was irreplaceable. But that's not what happened. Instead, Papoose ended up with someone far above her level in every way. That's what really triggered Remy. The realization that she's no longer the prize. Back in December, she tried stirring up chaos online. She went to Instagram and posted screenshots of Papoose sleeping in her house. He was on the phone with Claressa, and Remy took that moment to try and cause trouble. She captioned the photo saying something like, "Papoose dumb asleep on the phone with Claressa Shields in my house, and he refuses to leave." She tried to make Claressa look weak, by saying she hung up immediately when she heard Remy's voice. Then she added more fuel to the fire by saying, "I'm telling everything now. And baby girl, you're not the only one." That was her attempt to make Claressa jealous, like she still had some claim over Papoose. But Claressa didn't stay quiet. She clapped back fast. She said, "Why are you tagging me with a man who has a girlfriend, Remy? If I'm not the only one, then what's your point?" Boom. But Remy wasn't ready to back down. She came with more screenshots, this time trying to paint Claressa as insecure. One of the messages showed Claressa asking her to stop talking about her in public because it was hurting her image, especially with a new movie coming out on Christmas Day. That message was private, but Remy didn't care. She exposed it just to stir drama. She even claimed that Claressa's PR team was putting out fake stories to make Papoose look like some kind of saint. She said she begged him to speak out and shut the rumors down, but he refused. He believed silence would protect them. Remy then dropped a cold quote. "He even said I would never have asked to risk you because you're ugly." She ended her rant saying, "I saw everything. And soon the world will too." At this point, everyone was wondering, where was Papoose during all this drama? He wasn't hiding. He went live on Instagram and told his side. On Christmas Day, a time meant for family, Remy was busy messing around with Easy. She wasn't with her kids. She wasn't with him. Instead, she was with a man she betrayed him with. And the worst part? Last Christmas, she was still living in Papoose's house with his daughter. He gave her his trust again, and she broke it. Now that he's finally found peace with someone new, Remy's furious. She's throwing dirt, exposing DMs, sharing photos, doing whatever it takes to cause drama. But people can see the truth. She's not hurt because she wants him back out of love. She's hurt because she lost control. She gambled everything and lost. And what's worse, she lost to someone who's clearly everything she wishes she was. Papoose, on the other hand, has remained respectful. He didn't air out every single detail. He didn't humiliate her the way she's trying to humiliate him. He just made it clear, he's done. He's not looking back. And Claressa? She's not threatened. She's focused on her success, her career, and her relationship. She didn't fight for the spotlight. Remy handed it to her by dragging her into the mess. Now the internet's watching it all unfold, and the public opinion is shifting fast. People who once praised Remy for overcoming her past are now seeing a side of her that's bitter, messy, and ungrateful. Meanwhile, Claressa is winning in every way: career, relationship, and reputation. And as for Papoose? He's finally free. Free from the chaos. Free from the lies. Free to live a life he deserves, with someone who truly values him. It's getting really hard to ignore the chaos surrounding Papoose, Remy Ma, Claressa Shields, and Easy the Block Captain. What started as quiet whispers has now exploded into full-on drama. And now one of the biggest bombs has dropped. Papoose is finally speaking up, and he's not holding anything back. According to him, he tried to end things with Remy like an adult. He didn't want a messy breakup, just a calm, respectful divorce. But Remy didn't want that. Why? Because she didn't want to admit what really happened the night Papoose confronted Easy. Papoose claims that night changed everything. He says Easy didn't even get a chance to swing back. The moment things turned physical, Easy was down, curled up on the ground in the fetal position. It wasn't a fair fight, but Papoose made it clear he didn't attack just because Easy slept with his wife. He says it was deeper than that. The real betrayal, according to him, was that Easy shook his hand and pretended everything was cool, only to go behind his back with Remy. To make matters more dramatic, Claressa's ex-boyfriend jumped in. Yes, the same guy she dumped before getting with Papoose. He posted on Facebook, warning everyone not to come for him when he swings on Remy Ma. That's when you know it's bad, when your ex is stepping in to defend you during your new relationship's drama. At first, Remy stepped back and tried to stay quiet. Maybe she thought it would all blow over. But when she saw Papoose and Claressa smiling together, looking strong and unbothered, something inside her cracked again. She couldn't take it. Especially when Claressa publicly admitted just how much she loves Papoose. And it wasn't just regular love talk. Claressa said being with Papoose feels different than any relationship she's had before. The way he talks to her, treats her, and supports her, it's something she never experienced in the past. That kind of open, emotional honesty made it clear. Claressa isn't playing games. She wants him for herself and doesn't plan on sharing. That might have been the final straw for Remy. Rumors started flying fast. Word is that Papoose might be getting ready to propose to Claressa. And instead of accepting it and moving on, Remy seems to be spiraling again. Some insiders claim she's been flooding Papoose's phone with explicit photos and videos, trying to remind him of what they once had. But let's be real. Those kinds of desperate moves only highlight just how far things have fallen apart. After everything that's happened, how can she expect that kind of behavior to win him back? And here's the wildest part. Remy knows exactly what she's doing. She's fully aware that Papoose has moved on, and that he's no longer waiting for her. Still, she keeps popping up with these messy antics, trying to drag him back into her chaos. It's hard to watch, especially when you remember that her current boyfriend, Easy, already admitted that he and Remy have been together for 2 whole years. So what exactly is Remy trying to prove by chasing after Papoose again? From the outside, it looks like Papoose is handling everything calmly and smartly. He's keeping his cool, ignoring Remy's drama, and staying focused on building something solid with Claressa. While Remy's behavior keeps making headlines for the wrong reasons, Papoose is moving forward, not backward. He's not fighting back online. He's not arguing or throwing shade. He's just leveling up, and people are noticing. The internet has not been kind to Remy lately. Social media users are dragging her for everything she's doing. One comment went viral and summed up the situation in one painful sentence. Remy fumbled a good black man. And honestly, it's hard to argue with that. She had someone who stood by her for years, even when she was locked up. He stayed loyal, supported her music, helped raise their kids, and protected her image. But she threw that away for something that didn't last. It's sad to see someone go from being respected to being laughed at online. But Remy seems more focused on proving something than actually healing. She's trying to win back a man who has clearly moved on. And not just moved on with anyone, but with a strong, successful woman like Claressa Shields, who's not only in love with him but is also making him feel respected and valued. So now the question is, does Remy really think she can fix this? Or is she just hoping her old tricks still work? Because from where things stand, it looks like she's only making things worse. Every move she makes gets picked apart by fans.